And there was one tournament that we went out with the old lineup, and then I know Kscerato is a very good player. Like he knows yourself, everyone knows he's a good player, and he had opportunities to go somewhere else in many, many, many times in his career, including SK at 17. Like many times he could go somewhere else. And there's one of these tournaments I'm sharing bedroom with him, and then we lose the tournament, those kind of vibes, and then we start talking about what can we do, are we changing something or not changing? And I tell him, bro, you need to play in different places. I told him, you gotta go play somewhere else because I think if you don't go international, you're not gonna win anything. I told him, you're gonna have to play somewhere else if necessary. And then I told him, maybe we have to go international. I even told him, but you need to play with international players because we don't have the talent in Brazil right now.
Tá precisando de grana e tá com umas skins sobrando? A Skin Place é uma plataforma onde você pode vender suas skins instantaneamente e retirar o dinheiro facilmente. Tudo o que você precisa fazer é logar com a sua Steam, selecionar as skins que quer vender e escolher como quer receber o dinheiro, podendo ser via criptomoedas, PayPal, Kinguin, etc. E não esquece de usar o cupom KRZZ para ganhar um bônus de 3% na sua primeira venda. Confirme todas as informações e clique em receber dinheiro. Todo esse processo para mim durou apenas 3 minutos, então é realmente rápido. O link da Skin Place está na descrição.
Comparing back then and now, going back to now, right? You are playing a totally different role, still in-game leading, but without an op anymore. And Kscerato was here. I was asking him like how it came to Molodoi. He's all the way across the world from Kazakhstan, and he mentioned it was the practices and how you practice against Tamkal, and he was destroying you guys. You were opping back then, so you had that feeling playing against him one-on-one on the op battle. So how was it with Molodoi?
He was fast. So but it's like there are some players you play against that you can feel they can stretch some situations to an ability that most people cannot. So, for example, there you'll be playing a 3v3, and then he's one step ahead of the player that thought he had a good play. He's already one step ahead. Or he's not supposed to go for this repick, but he's doing it anyway, and he's making it work, and then we're like, well, what a play, Or he's just winning a 1v2 clutch, no chance for 2. So there's something different with this kid, because he's making stuff work that normally people don't. So we instantly realized that he was good. But at first, we didn't feel like, okay, this is the guy, we're bringing him to be the helper. No, it doesn't happen like that. But I started thinking about retirement and all those things, and one of the things the Furia guys told me is, if we're going to replace you, then we need to start building accordingly, because right now you have 2 roles, right? You're leading the team, you're the IGL, and then you are Alpine as well. It's very difficult to replace you instantly for one player only. So which one are we going to do first? And can you play a different role, only Alpine, only leading? And I knew for a fact that the teams that were winning tournaments have a strong Alper. I'm playing against Zayu all the time last year, Shiro, Bonesi. So I'm like, I can do some stuff with the Alpine nowadays. And I have been there in 2016 when I was this kind of player. And nowadays I just cannot. Like I'm focusing on other things better than what I can do as an Alper. So I was like, why not give it a try as an IGL, and maybe we can get a new kid. And that's when we remember Molodoi, and they went up to do some study. Like the management of Furia did a study on the tier 2 players. And they had numbers for everything, how they're playing, against who. And then Molodoi was quite high on the list. I think he was second or first. And then we decided to, let's ask him. And he instantly wanted to join. So we're like, yeah, that's it.
You didn't feel that it was maybe too much of a risk going internationally for the first time, especially with Kscerato?
It was risky, definitely.
Yeah, but what made you make a decision as you did? Why did you think it was worth it?
Have you ever heard of it doesn't get worse than that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The team was already bad.
Oh, you mean like we can't do any
you
worse?
Look to yourself, and you're like, you're not where you want to be,
Yeah.
For what we want to achieve as a team, as an organization, for how much effort and money they put into it, and how much of talent we have on the team as well. That's just not it. Like, if it goes wrong, it's better to go wrong than to stay like how it is. Like, it's not working. So we needed either it works or it doesn't. If it's bad, it's okay. We're already in the shit,
Yeah.
Honestly.
Was it hard to persuade Kscerato and Yuri to learn some of the English to be able to, communicate?
No, they already knew some English because they had experience with Junior, and they have been living in the United States for some years. And as we're traveling so many interviews, you get to learn English with time. So of course it's challenging at first, to change the brain a little bit, but we knew that with time it would be better than the first experience they had. And there was one tournament that we went out with the old lineup, and then I know Kscerato is a very good player. Like he knows yourself. Everyone knows he's a good player. And he had opportunities to go somewhere else in many times in his career, including SK at 17. Like many times he could go somewhere else. And there's one of these tournaments I'm sharing bedroom with him. And then we lose the tournament, those kind of vibes. And then we start talking about what can we do, are we changing something or not changing? And I tell him, bro, you need to play in different places. I told him, you got to go play somewhere else because I think if you don't go international, you're not going to win anything. I told him, you're going to have to play somewhere else if necessary. And then I told him, maybe we have to go international. I even told him, but you need to play with international players because we don't have the talent in Brazil right now. And even the talent that we think we might have in Brazil, they're too expensive. So if there is a player or not, I don't remember the tournament. But it's one of those bomb outs with the team. Probably before we making the change, like 2 or 3 tournaments before.
Yeah.
So I was very honest with him. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be for long, but you have what it takes, I know you work hard. And I started this conversation because he took the hit, like he was losing the tournament, and I could see that he was really feeling bad about people not putting the work, or he was feeling that it's not going to work. And then I felt like he needed to hear that as well. And then eventually we made that change, and we made him play international players, and I'm glad that it worked out.
Oh, so basically, if you love someone, let him go, and he will come back, if it's meant to be, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's more like I would say I'm not in a position to let him go or not. I'm not his boss, but in the same sense, just experience share. Because you never want to see someone that good not really going to the high.
Fulfilling the potential, right?
Yeah.